Oh, hey, hi, Today you caught me on falsely accusing some of my ex-boyfriends. Do you wanna hear the story? I'm sure you do, because you wanna fill Twitter with a lot of false accusations, because hashtag me too. So today I wanted to talk about illymation, and I'm really sad to criticize her because I actually think she has a lot of art, but I think she is telling everyone a lot of bullshit. Also, if you like my review and you think my thoughts are well argumented, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel. I may be the only YouTuber that you actually find that is being skeptical about these kind of things, and I think we all need some skepticism in our lives. And let me explain why. So this YouTuber made a series of videos, 3 videos about how she met her abusive ex-boyfriend. And the sad part is that everyone that criticizes his or her ex-boyfriend or girlfriend, usually we only have one side of the story. So it's very hard to actually try to figure out what really happened. And usually, not always, but many times, the truth usually lies beneath the two stories. Not here, but here. But I'm gonna analyze some of her allegations against her boyfriend, because I think we can figure out a lot on what she's actually saying just based on her side of the story. And once you hear it, I don't even know why many more people actually criticize her, because look at the like-dislike ratio. Everyone believes her, and in the comments there are lots of people wishing her boyfriend the death. Yeah, the death penalty. And many people wishing him to actually be in prison for life. Like, almost every comment is about his being in prison. So yeah, let's start. And just a little advice, I'm not gonna be a typical moral facts social justice warrior, because this video is mainly based on the moral facts and social justice warriors' thoughts. So let's begin.
It's really hard to condense without cutting out any important details. So this is part 1 of a 3-part series. The other 2 parts will be linked in the description and made into a playlist on my channel.
Yeah, not because it's a very long story. It's because I'm gonna cut every single video into 10 minutes for that ad revenue, and that would be okay. I'm all about ad revenue and having your videos 10 minutes long. But at least don't try to hide it under the it's a very long story. No, just say it. Just say, I'm gonna divide it into 10-minute videos because I wanna have more money, and that's okay. But don't be a liar. Let's keep on, because this is the less important lie about this girl.
Okay, I'm gonna start out with what you absolutely need to know. I dated...
Look at this. I dated a pedophile. And she doesn't want to say it because that ad revenue wouldn't be coming on. And I'm not gonna say it either, so that word is very much censored. But she's just saying bullshit. And I don't even know why no one in the comments is even realizing it. Listen up.
Dated, in quotes, because that's illegal. It started when I was 13.
And she doesn't believe she dated because that's illegal. It started when she was 13 and he was 40. He was a grown-ass man.
13 and he was 17.
And he tries to place a devil advocate here. This is very annoying because she's trying to say that everyone that says anything about this situation that it's not, she's placing everyone against her beforehand, saying they're a devil's advocate. No, it's not devil's advocate. It's actually gonna work in some serious legal reasons.
It's an exaggeration. Nice clickbait, Illy.
No, it is not an exaggeration. If you're 17 years old, you know, applying to colleges, driving, maybe you have a job.
Yeah, you have no idea. For starters, a pedophile is considered when someone is interested in someone less than 12-year-olds or 12-year-olds, because you need to consider that a child. From the range to 13 to 14, I think it has another name that I have no idea the name in English. But yeah, definitely not a Obviously, there are lots of people that grow differently depending on their genetics and where they're from, etc. For example, I lost my virginity when I was 14, and I was absolutely ready and grown to lose my virginity when I was 14. Was I a child? For some people, I could be in the child section, but I was not. In fact, if you go to the age of consent in many countries, you will find that the most common age of consent is around 14 to 16, and In some countries, it's 13, especially in Latin America, Europe, etc. But I agree, someone that is grown shouldn't be dating someone that is, I don't know, 16, even if it's legal. But why? Because when you're grown, like, I don't know, my age, I'm 25 now, you shouldn't be interested in 16-year-old girls because they have other interests in life. They have no job, no experience at all, and you should have some, and you shouldn't be interested in that kind of girls. But the thing here is that this guy is fucking 17, so he's a child too for many grown people, and you're daring to say that he's a pedophile because he dated you when you were 13, and that's illegal? For starters, that's not even legal. Relationships between minors is legal when it's consensual and also when it's not a child, and as we learned, childs are 12 and lower. So yeah, is he a pedophile? You're fucking victimizing yourself to make you look like you're a poor, abused girl. And I really despise that kind of moral facts and trying to say that everyone else is a devil's advocate. Shut up! In fact, in the United States, the less common age of consent is 18, being the vast majority the 16 ratio. So yeah, I don't even know what you're complaining about here. When you're 17, you're still a child, and you're in high school, I think. I don't know how the education system in the US works, okay? But yeah, I think it's pretty common to have some 17-year-old boys dating some 13-year-old girls. I think it's the most common thing ever. But you're trying to make it look like it's a pedophile, and everyone in the comments is saying that he should be in prison. Let's search prison, jail. Yeah. Whatever, dude. Whatever. Obviously, she's referring as a pedophile because when he goes to the 18 age, then he can get into some real legal problems because of that. It depends a lot on the judge, because if the relationship started when he was 17, I have seen many cases that judges wouldn't be willing to convict them because they started when they were minors and the age difference is not that big. I mean, they only have 4 years of difference, and between 14 and 18 is not that big of a difference. But what really pisses me off is her trying to make this situation profitable while being so much crazy about that she dated the pedophile. She was 13! And look at these conversations.
Someone who's literally in middle school. You know what kind of boys I was into in middle school?
Oh, you're in high school and you have a crush on someone in middle school! Get him the death penalty!
Well, Kovu from The Lion King 2. Moving on, but if the age...
You were in love to The Lion King 2 when you were 13? Maybe you have the problem. When he was 13, I was really into not drawings for that kind of situations. And I think there's almost no one on 13 that is not thinking about that stuff. So yeah.
Enough to prove he was a predator, this person also pressured me into...
Let's take a look at the conversations. She says that he pressured her onto sending pictures. But what she's showing here is not him pressuring her into showing pictures, it's her complaining about it. If I'm going to criticize someone that is pressuring me on trying to send pictures I don't want to send, I would put his message there, not mine complaining. And then he says, none of that helps you. I'm just a shitty leech. You don't need me. And then she says she didn't mean to make him feel bad. And then he says, well, you did, and now I feel like I'm a useless piece of shit and I want to die. He looks like a total beta man. Absolutely, he looks like a victim of life, but also she does too. But what I'm sure about is that this is not how someone that is being abused behaves. Why? Because a girl that is being abused, and that what's saying in her title, how she met her abusive ex-boyfriend, which means she's being abused, wouldn't even dare to behave like this. She's being the one that is dominant, and then he is a depressive motherfucker that is on the bottom of her, and that is very clear in this conversation. But look at this. My profile pic changed because earlier the screenshots were taken and sent to the police. Why would you even report to the police someone that you were willing to be with? That's something we will discuss later because it gets really worse. Then she proceeds to say that he threatened her, but what she is actually showing is her complaining about him. This sounds like she's actually trying to tell the story through her messages, not through his messages, because maybe we would see a different kind of story here. We are only seeing her interpretation here of the story while he is playing the victim as always. And also, you have to see how abused she is being while she is actually insulting him, telling him, you are so fucking thick-skulled. And she's actually kind of mocking his playing the victim. So, look at this. And don't even threaten suicide, go tell a family member. She doesn't even care. He's playing the victim to try to manipulate her, but she's not even being manipulated because she's sending him to fuck himself. So, what's the point here? I'm pretty sure the guy asked for those kind of pictures. I'm pretty sure about it because he's just a guy of 17 years that has one of his first girlfriends. Is it bad? Well, yeah, especially when the girl doesn't want. But my point is that this is not an abusive ex-boyfriend. All you can see here is a lot of anger towards him because you didn't like how the relationship went. And probably the guy was very, very toxic. But you are too, because guess what? You were a child and he is too. Because when you're 17, you are a moron. And that's usual. That's very common. You have no experience in life at all. And neither does her. So I think the good thing to do here is to try to forgive and forget some people that behave badly with you and not trying to get them in fucking prison and trying to be such a moral fact, like trying to say that you weren't in the age of consent, but you started both as minors and then when you reached 18 years, then you were 1 or 2 years above the age of consent, because it's not actually that horrific and in many countries, you were legal actually. So all I'm seeing here is some girl very angry at her ex-boyfriend and legally trying to get him in jail because the regulations in her country, in the US, allows her to. But going so forward to say it's your abusive ex-boyfriend, like you were abused, well, you're actually showing here that you're the dominant one here? What the f***? And then she says, stay tuned for more BS like this. Yeah, I'm gonna get a lot of ad revenue while talking shit about the toxic experience I had when I was a teenager, which I think we all did. Take a look at this.
I said no, which I did. So go ahead. Say age is just a number, and I'm blowing this whole thing up out of proportion. Go on. I'm used to it, because that's what he told me. For 5 years.
So you were with him for 5 years in an obviously toxic relationship, but you had no problem at all. When you were 13, he was 17, then you were 14, he was 18, you were 15, he was 19, you were 16, and then he was 20. You had no problem at all with that for 5 years of relationship, but then you call him a fucking pedo. And still this video has 10 million views and almost 500,000 likes. Yeah, and after 5 years I figured out that I was in a relationship with a predator. Oh, he was a predator. And I was abused while I'm showing that I'm the dominant one and I'm insulting him while we haven't seen yet a single message where he's insulting her. Oh, yeah, sure. And then she goes so forth to say that he was grooming her. Dude, you were both minors and you weren't a child, you were a teenager. And the fact is that in many countries when you're 13 you have the legal age to have consent with whoever you want. And I'm not saying that this is a good thing, because again, even if you're 13 and it's legal and you have consent to consent anyone you want, if you're 13 and you're with someone that is, I don't know, 40, that would be so messed up even if it's legal. But the thing here is that you were not groomed because you were not a child and he was also a minor. But yeah, so horrible, hashtag me too, right? Because you were dating for 5 years and you had no problem then, but now you figure out that it's grooming and your parents have no idea, right?
To gain their trust for the purposes of abuse. The predator gains the child's trust, breaks down their defenses, and then convinces.
And then she proceeds to call him a predator, sexual predator, whatever. Then she says that she was just 13 and it was all because she didn't know life. Guess what? He didn't either. He was a 17-year-old kid. You think that's an adult? It's not. It's a minor, a 17-year-old boy. What the hell? Why are we even treating him like an adult? He's not. He is not. I have a question for everyone that actually defends the US age of consent laws. For example, in the states that it's legal when you're 16, would you be offended if someone of 15 years dated someone of 17 years? Or even more, would you be offended if someone of 15 years dates someone of 16 years? Because in your moral, it would be the same. Again, I think the age of consent should be something more specific and something more into each person, because everyone matures differently, their bodies and their minds. When I was 14, I was ready to lose my virginity, but I know some people of 14 that are not ready. But the age of consent is such a polemic topic that almost no one wants to talk about it. But they use the pedophile word so easy that almost makes me want to puke. Then she proceeds to actually have zero empathy. She was obviously just a teenager that had no idea about life, but he was too. They both were very toxic, but she can only see her side of the story and not even see that when you're 17, you're not experienced at all and you make a lot of mistakes and you behave like a fucking toxic person. So this video is getting very long. If you like the video, don't forget to subscribe. If you want me to do more videos about her and her 3 series of videos about her ex-abusive boyfriend, don't forget to drop a like, subscribe to the channel, and please comment your opinions on the comment section. I would love to hear about it and maybe have a video replying to your thoughts. So see you soon and thanks for watching.